A very common requirement from Foglight users is to eliminate sensitive data from the APM user session replay. Typically there is information like passwords, credit card information, maybe social security number that people want to eliminate from the display. They don't want that information visible. In some cases they want to mask it all or mask some of it, and they do not want to store it in a database. We will talk about achieving this task with Foglight and demonstrate it on a local system. Let's look at the system where we're currently sniffing and replaying user traffic. As you can see, we can see the login page, admin, and password is hidden. But if we look at the user input on the left side, we're actually capturing both the user and the password and actually displaying it, which is something that we do not want to do. So in this case, what we need to do is define a sensitive hit and pretty much hide this data. Let's go to our navigation panel. Under APM, we have traffic analysis. And under traffic analysis, we have security, we have sensitive hit details, and sensitive content expression. In this case, since this is actually a request field, we will put it in the sensitive hit details. As you can see, we're already hiding password for a different application, but it looks like it's not covering our field name. So we're going to do add. Give it request field. In this case, I'll choose contains ignore case just to cover multiple cases. Now let's have a look at what kind of passwords we have. So it looks like we have multiple cases where password actually appears as a request field. I can also look for PWD or other types of combinations that may indicate a password. In this case, looks like PWD is actually not a field. But what I can do is pretty much eliminate everything that has password, replace it with something like this, and say that it's always sensitive. Now that I saved it, I actually have a hit filter that will hide the password. So let's fast forward a little bit and capture a couple of hits and show the results. So we captured a new session. As you can see, it's the same page where you have admin and password. And now when we look at the user input, what we can see is hidden password. So password is hidden and protected, and users that are actually looking at replays cannot see it. So we finished step number 1, which is actually hiding the data or actually masking the data. Another thing we can do if we would like to is actually stop collecting that data. Right now it's masked, but it's actually saved in our database. We may want to actually drop the data and not even collect it at all. To do that, we'll actually create a hit analyzer. And play with the storage restrictions. So what we can do is go for the storage restrictions and add one, and pretty much specify that everything that is marked always sensitive will not be saved. Keep in mind that right now it's evaluated for pretty much every hit. I mean, we can actually add conditions. Conditions, for example, can be only traffic that is going to specific server. So I can actually put a condition here that matches only traffic that goes to my production server, for example. Another thing I can do is just add a condition on request field. So I can say, for example, only when a specific field exists, I can actually eliminate that. So, for example, if I'm interested in my password field or checking a condition on my password field, I can actually do that. Just put a condition on my password field and just say something like when that password field actually exists. So this will only be evaluated for hits where I have this this field. So what that pretty much gives me is the ability to evaluate this information, and if this field actually exists, then anything that is sensitive content would actually not be stored. It will not be in my database, and this way my user's private information, whether it's password or social security number, is secured because it's pretty much not being collected. It's masked on the screen and it's not being saved in the database. Thank you very much for your time. For more information, you can go to eDocs and see Managing Security Policy on Sensitive Content. There is also a nice example of credit card information that just appears on the screen, not exactly a field, but just text that appears on the screen, and the ability to replace that data or mask some of that data. For example, just leave the last 4 digits. You can also see the information about sensitive hit details, which I demonstrated here, as well as the information about moving it from storage. So you can actually click on this link and look at defining storage policies. Hope you find this useful. Thank you very much for your time.